District Attorney Sandra Doorley, employees of the District Attorney's Office, Sheriff Todd Baxter, employees of the Sheriff's Office, Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court. My name is Chris Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I have been in jail 6 times, and 6 times the prosecutor's not talked in court. There is not one sentence. There is not one sound. There is not one syllable. When I appear in court, Deputy District Attorney Perry Duckles, prosecutors assigned to that appearance. What are the names of my prosecutors? Before, John P. Lomenzo Jr. in Penfield Town Court, Paul C. Metzler in Penfield Town Court. And who decided who's the sociopath, who's the hack, who's the extremist that forced me in to $208,000 hack and fossil Alex Renzi? The supervising judge. It's the prosecutor assigned to my appearance. Who is it, Perry Duckles? You refuse to tell me because you're corrupt. Your entire Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Jonestown, is corrupt. And you live in a delusional 1984 if you don't believe that that's the truth. Because your corrupt, sick, addled boss, Sandra Doorley, he doesn't know she's a Democrat or Republican and uses her help for political reasons to score political points, had to form what she calls a conviction integrity unit. Because innocent citizens are in jail when prosecutors don't talk in court. Your employees, Todd Baxter, are in places where they shouldn't be. Are you aware of this fact? And you're paying for your employees to be in places they shouldn't be, such as Corey Brown and Michael Fowler in Saratoga. I have more questions about Corey Brown, who is paid $23,000 more than you, and Michael Fowler, who's paid $31,000 more than you, being in Saratoga. I do not know off the top of my head if that was when the meet is convened, because I've been to that track more than 100 times. Were they there for the meet? Were Monroe County Sheriff Office employees Corey Brown and Michael Fowler in Saratoga and then at the track when they're supposed to be in Monroe County doing their jobs where they paid more money than you? So, your employees are in places where they never should be. I'm walking into Gold's Gym in Fairport. I leave the sidewalk from Penfield Road to walk in front of Wegmans. Here he comes right in front of me. That's because your Jonestown Kool-Aid drinkers, you Benito Mussolini skinhead, Todd Baxter, are alongside Wegmans every single day. Instead of being on Penfield Road, where they can police the roads, which is the job of the sheriff's office. I have seen them inside Wegmans right near the donuts rack. I'm trying not to laugh. Perhaps you've heard the cliche of the donut-eating cop. So, drove right by me, by Wegmans, all the time. I've had the photographs of them at Wegmans. Here's one of your fellow psychopaths, you Benito Mussolini skinhead, right outside my residence. This is where I used to live. See this parking lot here? Every single one of you employees at the district attorney's office can walk through that parking lot without warrant for your arrest. Every single employees at the sheriff's office can walk through that parking lot without warrant for arrest. You Paul C. Metzler, you bald-headed wig-wearing $28,000 hacking widow, you can leave Bad Road where you are in your little Star Chamber Penfield Town Court, walk down here, walk through this parking lot, past 2025 Penfield Road for a business called Consumer Insights, past the Shaw Law Firm where 50-year-old Nayron Shaw lives with a 70-year-old mother. You're not going to be arrested, Paul C. Metzler, because you're a different kind of American than me. Because of $83,000 hack from Hal Shannon Meyer at the sheriff's office. You, James C. Mully Jr., can leave Bad Road just like Paul C. Metzler. Walk down Penfield Road, take you 5 minutes, walk to that parking lot. You won't be arrested. Why is that, James C. Mully Jr.? It's a lunatic fringe because of this $83,000 Shannon Meyer. She was paid $67,000 when there was a warrant for my arrest for walking through this parking lot. Am I New York's 4,000-time criminal? You Benito Mussolini skinhead? And where's my 14th Amendment right to equal protection of laws? Pay your employees to do their jobs. That's not a coincidence that that vehicle is outside my residence because here he is again on a different day. The foliage is different. I had been on YouTube at least 50 times because now I've been on YouTube more than 100 times. Here he's right here. Your employees would drive over to my residence, just sit outside. Why? I think I know why, but I'm not going to say it. The reason I won't say. What they are, sitting here in their vehicles, doing nothing outside my residence, are psychopaths. This is why you're psychopath cops, not doing your job, sitting in your vehicles outside my residence. Where your employees are, they shouldn't be. Ryan Fisher, Atlanta, Georgia. How much was the cost of his trip, you being a Muslim skinhead? Here he is with his canine German Shepherd Lola for the Super Bowl. Not just any game. The game in the world he's at. In all of sports. Why? Is this for one of these ridiculous conferences? You, Perry Douglas, I've been demanding from your boss on YouTube. I haven't written the foil yet, but I will. Does your boss, Sandra Doorley, go to these conferences, or was this Ryan Fisher at a conference? The District Attorneys Association of the State of New York had a conference. I think it was in Albany County. I think it could have been in Saratoga. I don't know. But the District Attorneys Association of the State of New York has a conference, a summer conference, I think. I think they have multiple conferences. I'll find out. How many times has your boss, Sandra Doorley, one, been to any conference, or two, been to the District Attorneys Association conferences? If she's expending taxpayer dollars to leave Monroe County and go to these conferences, that could possibly be a scandal in the District Attorney's office. It's just scrolling taxpayers. Now, Todd Baxter, your freak Shannon Meyer gave a $16,000 raise to. This is the warrant for my arrest from this freak. This is why people hate the police. You could eat a Muslim skinhead. This lands me in Monroe County Jail. Nayrod shot 50-year-old man who goes to the sheriff's office, Elizabeth's 7-year-old mother. A piece of paper lends a citizen jump. It's processing the in court. I'm walking through the parking lot for 4,000 times. Nayrod Shah begins to scream and we have this confrontation. I give him the official finger of Brooklyn, New York, which I'm giving to you at the sheriff's office, the district attorney's office. Shah goes to the sheriff. Shannon Meyer calls me in this agonizing conversation I have with this freak for an hour, where I'm saying people walk through this parking lot all day long. Why are you calling me? I'm telling her Penfield High School students walk through this parking lot. I'm telling her that my friend who lived right next to me walks through this parking lot. I'm telling her that the elder woman who lives across the street from me walks through this parking lot. I can see people from my second floor bedroom window and my first floor sliding glass door window. She's a freak cop, and you, Todd Baxter, are a freak cop, and that's why you didn't fire her. So, the first sentence, on the above dated approximately 1440 HRS, I responded to the above location for report of male trespassing. Upon my arrival, I spoke with V. Shaw. How is he a V? I've said this over and over. The Jonestown of the Shannon Meyer, the 1984 that she lives in, where he's a V for victim. Nayrod Shah, because I walked through the parking lot, stated that HRS was on his property again today, even though he has been informed that he's not allowed to be there. That's not true. That's a lie. Nobody informed me I was not allowed to be there. I hate this fucking hack with every single fiber of my being, this Shannon Meyer that you gave a $16,000 raise to. A, what is A? What's that supposed to mean? So as far as the parking lot, where I used to live, I don't know if they're my neighbors, but that's two people walking through the parking lot. Can you see them right there? You psychopaths, the sheriff's office. Michael Riley, can you see those people? William today and your $101,000 salary. Can you see those people? Scott Alberti, Kathleen Miller. Is your husband Andrew Miller, Kathleen Miller? Is it Andrew and Kathleen Miller, the sheriff's office, is all in family? Walk through the park. They're not arrested. Another photo of them a little farther back here. I'm the only citizen out of 36,000 in Penfield, New York, to be arrested for walking through this parking lot, or have a warrant for arrest for walking through this parking lot. That's insane. So, where your employees are supposed to be, not supposed to be, over and over and over at Wegmans, outside my residence. A joke and disgrace that you are. What names my prosecutors, Perry Douglas? How many times do I have to demand this of you? I'm going to make a copy of this. Right here, this one here. Driving by Wegmans, I'm going to send this to you at the sheriff's office. Make a copy of this. I'm going to write about this too. I'm going to ask who's in this vehicle. Who is it? Who's sitting in this vehicle outside my residence? And did you tell him, this psychopath cop here, to come to my residence? I'm going to write to you again. Did you tell this psychopath cop right here at the sheriff's office, Todd Baxter, to come to my residence? Who is it? I've used the word accountability on a previous YouTube because there's no accountability for you. Over and over and over, using the Freedom of Information Law. I think there are at least 3,000 on this couch where I used to live in a law from Rochester. I moved to Park Avenue. There are at least 3,000 documents on here. They're stacked up. We're over and over and over demanding information and the information that demands me most is the names of my prosecutors of silence. How am I in jail when a prosecutor doesn't talk in court? How's any New Yorker in the state, from Montauk to New York City, up to Plattsburgh, across to Buffalo, in jail when a prosecutor doesn't talk in court? So, who is it, Perry Douglas? Who's the freak? Who are the freaks? This is the payroll for the district attorney's office. Is it Martha B. Colburn, $82,326.26? I don't know. I have multiple prosecutors, males and females. Is it Michael J. Harrigan, $102,686.64? So Michael J. Harrigan's salary, $102,686.64. Why does he have 64 cents in his payroll? I'm not asking this rhetorically. I'm going to write this down and send it to you. Who is it? Who are the freaks prosecuting me in total silence, forcing me into Paul C. Metzler, forcing me into John P. Menzer Jr., and then who elevated me to Alex Renzi? Who is it, Perry Douglas? We'll take fringe. So this arrived in your office too. Refusal, April 7th. Refusal, she refused to tell me names of my prosecutors. April 7th. Corruption and fanaticism in Penfield Town Court, $28,000 Paul C. Metzler. Have you been in there, Perry Douglas? You employees of the district attorney's office, the ADAs. When you're in there and you're looking at this bald-headed widow who has no idea what's going on, do you think she doesn't know what's going on? She doesn't have a clue? She's bankrupt morally and intellectually? Because that's what you should think about her. She looks at the piece of paper concocted by the sheriff's office. It's going to be guilty every time. She's a de facto employee of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, this wig-wearing, bald-headed, $28,000 widow, Paul C. Metzler, and you allow this extremist to be in this disgusting, sick room, Perry Douglas, and destroy lives. So, and that's ludicrous. Which is me on April 5th. Mail names on prosecutor silence, the address listed below, Rochester, New York, read the text, PDF documents. And you didn't do any of that. YouTube silence at Monroe County Public Defender Julie Sianka. I understand that this corrupt Leviathan, the district attorney's office, will not disclose prosecutors to me because you're a corrupt Leviathan. This I'm really in shock about. That the public defender, Julie Sianka, and her subordinates, Assistant Public Defender Regina Harper, and Assistant Public Defender Mark Phillips, refuse. I really am. Because I once had respect for Regina Harper and Mark Phillips, and it slowly evaporated. Now it doesn't exist. All you had to do, Mark and Regina, just tell me the names of these psychopaths that are assigned to my court appearances. You're every bit as corrupt as the district attorney's office, as I reluctantly concluded. And I'm not being defended in court. Your job is to come to the jail. I'm already in the jail where I have no due process, fill out a piece of paper, and I'm released. And I was thanking you because I was just so relieved to be out of jail. The way it works in the United States of America, you sickening, disgusting hacks and sociopaths, district attorney's office, for citizens to be in jail, to take that step to destroy that life, the prosecutor talks in court. That's the way it works. A prosecutor's never talked in court. You're violently attacking me, and then you're depositing me in front of these corrupt judges where I have no due process. My Miranda rights have never been read to me. And then I'm languishing in jail, not even told how long I'm going to be in jail. When I was at Livingston County Jail, same jail Buffalo mass murder Peyton Gendron was in, I had to go to the kiosk every day and type my name in there and ask, when am I being discharged? When am I leaving? When's my sentence over? And this is what I'm told, quote, the judge is holding you, by Regina Harper, and I do not believe that that's constitutional. I'll find out, though, when I contact individuals that would know, and the United States Department of Justice, the United States Attorney for the Western District of New York. Identification. Tell me who it is. Certain words just are simple and basic to understand. You don't understand simple and basic at the district attorney's office. So here it is, this freak Shannon Meyer, 83-291-42, Michael Houlihan, who runs at me in the dark of midnight 2 years ago, hiding on the private property of my neighbor, chased me up to my back porch as I placed my foot on the first of 3 steps to run through the sliding glass door. He grabs me on the hammer I just grabbed, goes over, pull away, and run through the sliding glass door. Tell Michael C. Houlihan, if I hypothetically wanted to assault him, he would have been unconscious on my back porch. I have never in my long life, 57 years, ever engaged in violence. And he perjured himself to your grand jury, Michelle Crowley. I've said this to you over and over. And Leah Wiley LaRoque, what are you doing in my residence with your document? That's not a search warrant. I haven't talked about this recently, but I will. I'll be back on here, I hope, in the next 72 hours. I'm going to put your name on YouTube, Leah LaRoque and Paul C. Metzler. What's the probable cause for you, Leah LaRoque, to get into my residence, number one? Two, and two, why did you remove my Acer Chromebook? And three, where's my Acer Chromebook now? And your answer to all those is, I don't know. And your answer, Leah LaRoque, is you should be arrested for asking me these questions. There's no probable cause to, one, be in my residence, two, take anything out of my residence. You 40-plus pounds overweight, $97,000 psychopath, Leah Wiley LaRoque. You understand me? So, John D. Watson, $118,000. What does John D. Watson do for $118,000? You need a whistle in the skin. So, now I have the financial disclosure here for Sandra Doorley. And $203,000 is enough money to invest. And since she's been at the district attorney's office since 1992, 30 years, she should have a comfortable living with either savings or investments. This is what I find shocking. It really is. I try to strive for accuracy when I use certain words or language, because I thought that there would be a range of investments or monies on here. So this is the financial disclosure of Sandra Doorley, which I've had for a while and I have not talked about it yet. I had to think about what I want to say, and I'm still not at the point what I want to say about this, because it's bizarre. County Monroe annual financial disclosure, Sandra Doorley. I don't think your husband Bill Loftus is on here. It says married, and something's blacked out there. That might be his name. So district attorney, Monroe County district attorney here. Now, this is what I find bizarre. List any interest in excess of 1,000. It says none. List the name, principal address, general description, nature of business activity. None. Okay, business activity, that's understandable because you already have a job. List each sorts of gifts in excess of 1,000 in the aggregate. None. That's understandable too, because to take gifts from anybody is unethical. Identify and briefly describe the source of any reimbursements for expenditures, excluding campaign expenditures in connection with official duties reimbursed by the county in excess of $1,000. None. That's why I started thinking none. You have no official reimbursements for county responsibilities or county duties. Number 11. List below the nature and amount of any income in excess of $1,000 from each source for the reporting individual for the taxable year last occurring the prior date of filing. Income from a business or professional real estate rent shall be reported. So that's none. That's understandable. List below the type and market value of securities held by reporting individual from each issuing entity in excess of $1,000 at the close of the taxable year. This is what I found different or bizarre. It's none. 30 years at the district attorney's office. I'll read this again. Number 12. List below the type and market value of securities held by the reporting individual from each issuing entity in excess of $1,000. Sandra Doorley doesn't have any stocks or bonds or anything like that. That's my understanding of a security. So it's not. List each interest in a trust or estate. That's none. List below the location, size, general nature, acquisition date, estimating market value, and percentage of any real property. That's none. Sandra doesn't have any real property. Doesn't her home count as real property? List below all notes and accounts receivable other than goods and services all held by the reporting individual. None. List below all liabilities of the individual in excess of $5,000 as the date of filing on this. None. All liabilities. It's debt. None. District Attorney, Monroe County, has no debt. I want to read that again. List below all liabilities of the reporting individual in excess of $5,000. Liabilities is debt, is my understanding. None. Describe any interest your spouse or your unemancipated children have in contact involving the county, contract involving the county or any municipality located within the county. None. All right, that's understandable. Statement of financial disclosure. I think this is the same thing twice. I have to make sure if it is or isn't. Here's your name here. July 28th, 2022. There's your signature there, Sandra Doorley. All you have is your salary. You have no investments, no stocks, no bonds, no securities. Nothing. You have no money beyond the $210,000 you're paid in salary. You get your paycheck, you spend your paycheck. It's not in any type of securities. So your financial disclosure, District Attorney Sandra Doorley of Monroe County, from this document is zero. You have no holdings, you have no investments, you have no stocks and bonds. I'm not quite sure what I think about that. I think it's odd and bizarre. What do you employees think at the District Attorney's office? Have you seen this document? You should ask your boss, Sandra Doorley, for it and tell her to look at it, because this is a possible political liability for her. I believe when I contact the controller of the state of New York and tell the controller, the duly elected Thomas P. DiNapoli, in the Alfred E. Smith building in Albany, New York, that's odd and bizarre. And perhaps you should ask Sandra Doorley about her financial disclosure. I do not yet know about the regulatory authority in the state of New York over district attorneys, sheriffs, and other elected officials like a county executive for financial disclosure. Personal finances are a path to corruption all throughout the United States at the local, state, and federal level. That is bizarre that you have essentially nothing in stocks, bonds, holdings when you've been at the District Attorney's office 30 plus years, District Attorney Sandra Doorley. So, now, you continue to refuse to disclose the names of my prosecutors. Now, how many times I asked you and demanded of you, and that's corruption every single time, and you will never know that you're corrupt at the District Attorney's office, because I'm on this app TikTok, Perry Duckles, talking to you. Deputy District Attorney Perry Duckles of Monroe County. My name is Christopher Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I have been in jail 6 times, and 6 times the prosecutor's not talked in court. What are the names of my prosecutors, Perry Duckles? I contacted you on January 1, 2023, and demanded of you in writing that you disclose the names of my prosecutors of silence. Why did you refuse, Perry Duckles? The answer is that you're corrupt. Everything I'm going to say here to you, I've said to Julie Siak of the Monroe County Public Defender's Office. This is why the Monroe County Public Defender's Office is corrupt. They'll refuse to disclose the names of my prosecutors as well. Mark Phillips of the Public Defender's Office, Regina Harper Public Defender's Office, sent my mail back to me and refused to open it because each knows I'm demanding of them what I'm demanding of you right now, Perry Duckles. How is any citizen in jail when a prosecutor doesn't talk in court? My 50th birthday, July 4, 2015, I have a speeding ticket in my place of employment in Albany, New York, a speeding ticket in my place of employment in Washington, D.C., and both was dismissed when I went to court. Does life matter, Perry Duckles? I have always known the difference between legal and illegal, right and wrong. Every single criminal charge for me is a fiction, is a lie, is the fantasy land of the heads of these corrupt cops employed by Todd Baxter, and he's the corrupt cop in Monroe County. That's why a prosecutor doesn't talk in court, Perry Duckles, because a prosecutor can't make an argument for fiction and lies that have destroyed my life. Perry Duckles, what are the names of my prosecutors of silence? You'll refuse. Julie Siaka, the Public Defender's Office, will refuse. That's insane. How is any citizen in jail when a prosecutor doesn't talk in court? And that's why your boss, Sandra Doorley, doesn't know if she's a Democrat or Republican, had to form a conviction integrity unit. And what does this contraption do, Perry Duckles? How do you look at documentation that is in your office in your name that I sent via Federal Express or registered mail return receipt, UPS, to you, to your fellow assistant district attorneys? How do you look at the Freedom of Information law where it says to identify my process of silence and then refuse? It's because you're corrupt and unethical. How does your boss, Sandra Doorley, look right at that boil, Freedom of Information law, and refuse to disclose the names of my prosecutors? Because she's corrupt and because she's unethical. Perry Duckles, Douglas, Christopher.Chichester@mail.com. Mail the names of my prosecutors of silence to that mail.com address, and you will refuse Deputy District Attorney Barry Douglas because you're corrupt and unethical. That's exactly right. You will refuse, and you did. And when I say you will refuse, this is January 28th. Documentation for, December 28th. The documentation for the case for Christopher Chichester for John P. Lamont Union Penalty Court was in the prosecutor Sandra. Was that Julie Hahn? Was that not Julie Hahn? Was now in Monterey County Court? And who's not the victim? Documentation for the case for Christopher Chichester for Paul Lamont Penalty Court was in the prosecutor Sandra Doorley. This is the 5'2" three-piece suit boy that Regina Harper, the public defender's office, said to me, quote, the prosecutor's not backing down. Rambo here is not backing down in total silence. This boy is a coward. This is the boy I perhaps have the most interest in. This is the employee of the district attorney's office I have the most hatred for. He delivered me to Livingston County Jail. Him and Paul Metzler. But he didn't talk. Documentation for the case for Christopher Chichester, New York State Supreme Court for Alex R. Renzi was the name of the prosecutor, Sandra. My last appearance before this $208,000 hack and fossil. He said to me I was finished and done, which is not true. And I was one of you psychopaths in the district attorney's office to write the warrant. I'll be filed and stalked and tracked by a sheriff's office employee. You'll arrest me outside, Alex Renzi, and then I'll be languishing in jail where I have no due process. He said I was finished and done. That's not true. Who are the two females? I believe in my process that was standing behind me. Was there no prosecutor in there that day? And they're just court employees. I don't know. I have prosecutors from the Monroe County District Attorney's Office assigned to Alex Renzi because I'm a defendant in Alex Renzi's courtroom. And what are their names and their identities? Perry Douglas. Excuse me. So that was on December 28th. The same document arrived in the office on December 22nd. December 14th. January 10th. January 18th. Here. And, Todd, baby. What's the 2025 Penfield Row? This is your refusal to answer because you're a coward, Todd Baxter. Of a surveillance device purchased with taxpayer dollars by Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter fixed to a building 2025 Penfield Road to monitor Christopher Chichester 26 Sanders Farm Drive. Walks through the parking lot next to the building, and that's lunatic fringe. There it is, right there. Is that not a surveillance device, you Benito Mussolini skinhead? Is that not a surveillance device, Perry Duckles? Is that not a surveillance device, Mark by hand? Elliot Spitzer works at this building in 2025 Penfield Road. Says it's now repeatedly. Is this private technology for the security of your building in Penfield, New York? What are these psychopaths, the sheriff's office, come and fix it? Regina Harper sent me the links. It has an assigned number called an ICN number. I've been on this thing over and over and over. What's the answer, Elliot Raw? You're a private citizen. You could say, leave me alone. I don't have to answer anything. Send my mail back to me. The sheriff's office, their entire Michael Rather, play this YouTube for your boss. And this is in your office, too. This photograph is in your office over and over and over. What's the answer? private technology that you're using upon me to concoct the crime for me in the parking lot I walked through 4,000 times. You buy it, fix it for me with tax dollars. And I have it here again. This is in your office. It's in the foil when I sent you the color picture. So I pay more money for the color picture. And then on January 16, 2023, Todd Baxter, Sheriff, 130 South Plymouth Avenue, Rochester, New York. This photograph's why you're a fanatic. This photograph's why you're an extremist. This photograph's why you're a liar. This photograph's why I know the name is $67,000 disgusting hatch channel liar. This photograph's why people hate the police. Christopher Rochester, 620 Park Avenue, PMB number 361, Rochester, New York. Copy 2. Trinity, United States Attorney for the Western District, New York, Paul C. James Whelan Jr., Mark Phillips, Monroe County Office of Mental Health, the Compound Way, which goes to Wegmans and Connects device. That I see myself on everything at that sheriff's office. Lying is your default position. What are the answers? That's why. Corrupt psychopaths and fanatics come. I no longer have my original leads to Todd Baxter. Because of fair putting Walker, my ex-girlfriend, all around. Locking the doors and locking me out without a court order. I've talked about him. When I write the criminal complaint about Anthony Spano, 80 years old, at first I was just talking to her like I always have. I just tell me what happened. And then I realized this is really radically wrong, and it's disgusting and despicable for her to refuse to tell me and talk to me. We lived at 3 different residences together, and she's an alien human being now to me. I sent her a registered mail return receipt that came back to me. UPS came back to me. I'm telling her to tell me what happened. So we're in the district attorney's office. You have the FOIL. I'm telling you, disclose the names of prosecutors, either the FOIL or Freedom of Information Law itself, or I'm on YouTube doing this. So you can see the email, which says on the email. I'm telling you, disclose the names of prosecutors. This is corruption. Sandra Doorley, District Attorney's Office. Lisa Gray, the counsel. What are the name of my prosecutors? Lisa Gray. Perry Duckles, the Deputy District Attorney. What names are prosecutors? There's Todd Baxter here. Captain Scott Alberti, Panorama Trail. Fire Richard J. Seaton, Scott. Deputy Todd Thurston. Fire Richard J. Seaton, Todd. U.S. Attorney Trinity Ross. If the United States Attorney for the Western District of New York, Trinity Ross, a distinguished American, contacts you either by support directly and says, why refuse to disclose the names of the prosecutors for this citizen? What's your answer at your little shack in 47 South Fitzhugh? Your answer is that you're corrupt. That's the answer in the New York State Supreme Court. Who forced me into Alex Renzi? Who did it to me? Is the prosecutor signed to that case? I'm going to demand a list of his defendants, and he's going to refuse. And other information from him, like his personal financial disclosure. Is he going to be $0, no investments, no money, nothing, just like you, Sandra Doorley? Is he going to be dead flat broke, just like you, Sandra Doorley, Alex Renzi's $208,000 salary? Paul C. Messer, of course, she's got no money either. James Whelan Jr., Mark Phillips of the Public Defender's Office. Mark, you know the answer to this question. It's in your office, 10 North Fitzhugh Street, the Public Defender's Office. What are the names of my prosecutors? Julie Siaki, you know the names of this question. It's in your office, 10 North Fitzhugh Street, the Public Defender's Office. What are the names of my prosecutors? Regina Harper, you know the answer to this question. It's in your office at 10 North Fitzhugh Street, Public Defender's Office. What are the names of my prosecutors? Insane for you to refuse to tell me. Insane. For a public defender anywhere in the United States of America, If you disclose the name of a prosecutor, use that word over and over, just like over and over. I talked about these two hacks. Michael T. Fowler, 163, 877, 48 cents. Corey Brown, 155, 366, 64. They're not just paid $1,000 more than you. Corey Brown's paying $23,000. Broken record alert. What do they do? That's what they're doing. In Saratoga. And that is total and complete disgrace. Having a good time. Just like this guy. Ryan Fisher. You're going to be corrupt at the sheriff's office? Don't tell anybody you're corrupt. He on Twitter tweeting about your employee as we get ready to watch the Super Bowl. We're grateful to the men and women side to keep. Deputy Fisher sent this photo from Atlanta! Exclamation point. Thank you both for your service. The lies in here are ridiculous. Ryan Fisher and his dog are not keeping fans and players safe. That's a lie. He's having a good time. Thank you both for your service. That's a lie. This is not service. He's not keeping anybody safe. This is not service. This is Fun City. This is a junket. This is a duly sworn officer of law in Monroe County in the Deep South in Atlanta. There are parts of Georgia that wish that's how alienated Georgia is. There are parts of Georgia that think, why do we have to have a 1964 Civil Rights Act? There are parts of Georgia be segregated. And here your employee, Ryan Fisher, is in Georgia. So who is it? You this whole thing?